I'm live. This is the first in a series of videos that I want to make. Now that Lazy Dreads has brushed his dreads out, I figured there's not a void, but there's room, maybe, for someone else to step in. And I'm not trying to be Lazy Dreads, but it's sort of what sparked this idea. And I know what you might be thinking. What? Yet another natural freeform dreadlock vlog? And the answer to that is yes. This one is going to be a little bit different. A lot of people have their dreadlocks for all kinds of reasons. Some of them grow them, some of them make them, some of them maintain them, some of them don't, and I'll get into that soon. But these dreadlocks are natural, neglect, organic, freeform, Nazarite, however, whatever title you want to give it. It's basically that 9 years ago and some change, I don't remember the exact date, but something like 9 years ago, I decided to stop brushing my hair. I switched to an herbal vegan shampoo, which doesn't hinder the process of locking up. And that's it. I've basically been letting them do their thing. And natural dreadlocks, I'm not an elitist of any kind, but I can see why they are the more respected dreadlocks within the community, if you will, of dreadlocks, because it can teach you so much. The process is so fulfilling and so rewarding. There's just so much to learn. Now, I debated with myself, should I start this channel? What value can I possibly bring to the table? What can I give that a different natural, organic, freeform, neglect, dreadlock channel does not? Where is my micro niche, right, within the natural dreadlock niche? And I think that my angle of the spiritual Nazarite vow, dreadlocks, is going to be something which makes a difference. And again, I'm not being a hard ass. If you've got dreads simply for fashion, if you retwist them every month or 6 months, it doesn't matter. Dreadlocks are dreadlocks. You can have them for culture, religion, spirituality, fashion, for the hell of it. Whatever it is, I respect that. There are certain ways where you can make dreadlocks. It's about being comfortable with who you are. And in that sense, the natural dreadlocks process and journey does teach you a lot about yourself. I started mine when I was 27. I had not cut my hair for several years before that, but I stopped brushing when I was 27. I'm now 36, and I'm entering into my 10th year without brushing my hair. So just quickly, I'm going to give one of these, and from the back. Now, I debated. I said, isn't it very vain? Isn't it exceedingly vain, especially if I'm growing my hair for spiritual reasons, to have a channel dedicated to hair? And I said to myself, no, because hair has always been a part of my journey. Hair has always been a part of my spiritual journey, my evolution, my growth as a human being. I had long hair when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. I had side curls, being a religious Hebrew man. For a good while, I had long side curls, which I also grew naturally. I didn't cut off my hair and leave side curls, but I have them. And I'll put up a timeline at some point, maybe, if I have enough footage or enough photographs. And sometime after the army, I decided to stop brushing my hair as a physical manifestation of an internal spiritual covenant, which was manifested in the Hebrew Nazarite vow. And if you want to learn more about that, I have a separate channel dedicated to the Nazarite vow called Hebrew Nazarite. You can feel free to look it up, and I'll link it down there. But this channel, as far as I see it, is going to be about the hair. So let's talk a bit about the hair. The natural dreadlock journey is very rewarding because you see it develop day after day, and you can actually see the evolution. It took me, I don't know, between 4 and 6 months for things to start sectioning out. And I got my first tiny little knot here in the back. I think it was this one. Started off as a tiny little knot. There is a lot of truth in, for those who say that natural, freeform, neglect, organic dreadlocks, being the most fulfilling, the most rewarding, because it really, really is. And if you let it, It can teach you a lot about yourself. I mean, I'm made this switch into natural dreadlocks at 27. I know that people who do it earlier or who live elsewhere, I was in Israel at the time, people who live elsewhere sometimes talk about how natural dreadlocks, because of that process, because of that evolution, it helps to weed people out. It helps to gain like-minded individuals as friends, and it helps you gain or incorporate virtues like patience, virtues like humility, virtues like, well, things of that sort. Good things. Knowing that good things take time, it helps you to appreciate the finer things because you're more mindful. And it also acts as a visual timeline of who you are, your experiences, your life, your subjective experience of life. I mean, some of my dreads are different colors because the sun changed them. Some of my dreads have different pieces of clothing in them. I mean, I clean them as best I can, but some of them during the first couple of years where I was maintaining significantly less because I was really into just letting them do their thing. Some of them are probably a little dirty on the inside. I don't care. I care that outside they look good and they smell good. And I don't mean that in a vain kind of way, which again goes back to this channel. How can I not make it vain if it's about me and my hair? But it's not. This channel is for people who want to learn more about natural dreadlocks and who want to maybe have their own, know the pros, know the cons. As someone who has been growing them for 9 years and someone who has not had a haircut in 12 or 13 years, I think, I feel I can offer something, or maybe not. This would be the place to find out. This is the place where if there's a market for it, let's say, and I mean that really, really loosely, then I'll find out. And if not, I won't. So this will be a place, as far as I'm concerned, for some Q&A. It'll be a place for me to drop some knowledge and get some back. It's about a dialogue, right? It's engagement. I'm not here to preach to anyone or educate anyone. Maybe that's more in my other channel. Not here. Here I really am about sharing my experiences, my journey. So I just stopped brushing my hair. I asked my wife before that, and she said, look, as long as they're not too dirty and you maintain them kind of minimally, so they're not too off-putting, then go for it. She was a real trooper about it. For the first year or two, many times my hair was covered in a tam, a dread hat, whatever you want to call it. And then at some point I decided to let them go more. Now, when I say they were covered, I don't mean 24/7, but more often than not, I had them inside covered. I wanted it to be, again, something more internal, right? A spiritual covenant that I made. And the hair is simply, well, not simply, but it's a physical manifestation of it. I am doing my very best to not get too attached to my hair. I could wake up tomorrow without hair. I'd like to think that my vow and my spiritual growth is there regardless of how I look, even though externally having a certain appearance, going through a certain evolution externally can do a lot. It's the outside, the external affecting the internal. It's a symbiotic thing, I guess, one feeding off the other, right? But I want to get to a point, and maybe I'm there yet, maybe I'm not, where if I wake up tomorrow completely bald, I will be the exact same individual. No reason for me to think that I won't be. But I would be lying if I said that I have no relationship with my hair whatsoever. Far from it. I have cultivated a very deep and spiritual relationship with this external physical hair. I mean, to watch it go, to watch it knot up, to watch it go from a state of chaos to strands and locks like this, it's a significant thing. It's a significant journey. There is, so over here, if you can see, it's still regular hair. It never locked up. And I might be losing it at some point. I don't know. My brothers, I have a few brothers, and they all have receding hairlines, and I have kind of a recessive hairline as it is. So I don't know where that's going to go, but that doesn't matter. I don't want my external appearance to have such a significant impact on my internal evolution and growth and state. But there's no denying that the way I look on the outside, whether it's the beard, whether it's the hair, whether it's other things that I have on my body, the body will go to the grave at some point. I won't be taking this hair to the afterlife or to the world to come, but it does symbolize the things which I will be taking with me, which is ideally being a good person, living a more righteous life, being kind and mindful to others, ba 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 ba. This is what the hair signifies to me, which is why I have cultivated this relationship with it. It's something that I care about, but I don't have to maintain often. That's the wonderful payoff in the immediate aspect of it, where you make the decision and that's it. If you're going the freeform journey way, the maintenance is so minimal, so insignificant almost, because you're letting it do its own thing and it tells your story. Things you went through, like I said, whether it's change of color, whether it's the different locks. You don't have uniform locks which look alike. Some of them are flat, some of them are thin, some of them are round, some of them are short and tall. Sometimes they'll grow thinner and parts of them will fall off. There were 3 times or maybe 4 times in my life where I had a small piece of the dread sort of get thin and fall off naturally, and I bury them at that point. Even though in scripture the Nazarite burns his hair, but that's when he fulfills his vow. I'll get into that maybe in the other channel. That's where I speak of such things. So I bury them. I don't want to burn them. I bury them. I return them to the earth. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, likes, dislikes, anything you want to know, I'm aware of the fact that you could get all of this and more with other more successful channels, but I'd like to bring the spiritual twist and the Nazarite twist more so in this channel, which is why I've titled it Nazarite Dreads. This is the place for whether you have dreadlocks or not, whether you are a Hebrew or not, whether you're a Nazarite or not. It'll be a place for you to come and engage with others and with myself on natural dreadlocks, how I maintain them, if that, and different ideas that I have about hair, about the spiritual side of hair, and what it can do for me, what it has done for me. Now, it's very, very subjective. I'm not going to say things which affect everyone and everyone. I'm going to give my 2 cents. So the natural dreadlocks journey is, as far as I'm concerned, it was the only way to go. Maybe, I don't even remember. Very briefly, I considered starting them differently. But as soon as I started doing the research and I understood that there are several ways of creating them, but one way to grow them, that's really what sold me on that. Because there are billions of ways to make dreadlocks happen, but only one way to grow them from scratch, which is the natural way to just let them do their thing. I'm not going to get into the minutiae to separate, not to separate, to each his own. I'm talking about how you start them, maintaining them. Different people twist and crochet and rip and all kinds of methods. I've heard so many methods of making dreadlocks, some of them downright ridiculous, but there's one way to grow them, and that's this way, or it was the only way to grow them for me. Feel free to disagree. That's what this is about, creating dialogue, right? And being a part of a community and saying different things, whatever it is that you want to say about hair. So hair has always been a part of my journey, whether it's when I had long hair, I knew why. When I had short hair, I knew why. When I had the side curls, I knew why. And when I decided to go the natural dreadlocks route, I perfectly well knew why. This could all change tomorrow. I could decide something else, other things, different things. I'm not banking on it. It's not my intent, but I'm well aware of the fact that human beings are fallible. I'm fallible. I'm paradoxical. It's an axiomatic thing. The human existence in general is axiomatic. I won't get into the whole thing, but that's how I view my hair. It could be gone tomorrow, and I need to carry on as if I have the dreadlocks, because really, I do. So this has been the first in what I hope is a series of videos. I'm now entering my 10th year with natural dreadlocks, and my 13th or 14th year of not cutting my hair. So I feel that there's a lot that I can bring to the table in the spiritual side of things. And if this is vain, if you feel that it's something to do with pride and vanity and that I shouldn't carry on with it, tell me. One other thing I neglected to mention. There was a time when I was 18 where I decided to stop brushing my hair, and I didn't know that that's how you make natural dreadlocks. Fast forward a few months down the line, they started to loop and bump and get all crazy. And eventually I combed them out because I decided to not go there. But I never knew that that's what I was doing. I started Natural Dreadlocks without knowing that I was starting Natural Dreadlocks. That's a little tidbit there. I might talk about that later on and about why I did that, if I even can scrape out the information. All right, this was 15 or so minutes. It's the first in the series, like I said. Let's have a good one. Nazarite dreads. As far as I'm concerned, for me, it was the only way to go. What's your method? What's your way? How do you feel about hair being a spiritual vessel of some kind? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a good one. God bless.